Hi, my name is Sky, and well, this is concerning G4 TV and all my commentary response videos to their content material. I mean, there's some question, and actually, the question's kind of been developing, getting bigger, about so why do I do those videos, and what is the purpose? And even myself, I kind of wondered about it. Initially, I did a couple different videos for different reasons. One was I was trying to get a job, and another one was because I thought an interesting group of people, and since they had such a social setting, I thought I was curious if I could actually just start hanging out with those guys anytime I went through Los Angeles. But it didn't happen, and I kind of realized why. The social aspect that really the original show, the screensavers, in the early days of Attack the Show had, was basically replaced by more corporate mechanisms. And by corporate, it essentially means we're trying to get an audience, trying to maximize the amount of money that you put in and you get out of the network. Now, so the number of people who are fans of Attack of the Show is equal to the number of people who are fans of X-Play. And I'm not sure if that's current, up to date, concerning how the programming of X-Play and Attack of the Show have changed recently. But I don't know. Hey, it's kind of hard for me to challenge and or deny who gave me the evidence or who told me that statistic. Now, the thing is, one of the way that any organization runs is based on feedback, and feedback comes in a lot of different ways. Feedback comes in terms of who is using your product, who is purchasing your product, who is watching your product. In the case of Attack of the Show, we know that there's a certain population that's watching that, and part of that population is aimed for by Neal Tiles, the president, for a male demographic of 18 to 34. And I should have asked the question of why they decided to go for that demographic. Neal Tiles had a recent thing, open source, where you can basically submit questions to him. And I asked him several questions. In particular, I said, hey, well, since about half of gamers are female nowadays, what are you doing to attract the female gamer? So I'm just real curious about the response to that. Now, the thing is, I like the show. I'm a big fan of the show. In particular, there's a couple segments which I find just very interesting and great to watch. The loop is almost always a real fascinating topic, and especially because it's really educating the audience on the industry. And in my opinion, that is what Adam Sessler is doing with X-Play now. He is saying, well, rather than since we have to create all this material for a 5-day run show, and we know people are going to be there for the video games, and since we know there's a sizable portion of the audience that's interested in the video game industry and what decisions go into making the games, and who are these companies that make the video games we like. So they started talking about the industry. They started talking about, well, who's buying who is quitting, who's getting promoted, what lawsuits are going around, which a number of gamers would probably not be interested in at all. But for me, I'm actually quite interested by that. I'm going to try to apply for a job with BioWare, and I got a feeling that I'm going to be a much more valuable employee for them to have if I understand the gaming industry. Whereas if you had somebody who didn't know, just said, oh, I just know how to make video games. I don't know anything about I don't read blogs. I don't, follow the information about the trends and this and that. I don't know, it's just as an assumption, but in any other industry, who would a company hire? Would they hire some guy who didn't know the product, or would they hire a guy who knows the product in the industry? So, kudos to G4 TV for that. But ultimately, I just feel that since anybody else can say whatever they want, and even Attack of the Show espouses that with, their very open, with the very open nature of the programming, and the same with X-Play, that, so it's okay, to create video commentary about different segments of the shows, of like both of what I like and what I don't like, and what I find questionable or what I think could have been done better. Because what makes me different than somebody else who it's their job to be paid to create a commentary and feedback, or to create a response about a certain program. The difference is that I'm not being paid. This is just how I honestly feel. And whatever my opinions are, they may or may not be shared by the rest of the audience. So those who agree, they agree. Those who disagree, disagree. And it's not up to me to decide, which group you're a part of. It's up to you to decide which opinion do you most agree with, and possible show response in some way, either by viewing or by leaving a commentary saying that you agree or disagree. Now, why do that? What's the purpose? What's the ultimate goal of that? Well, when I first got into the online portion of G4TV, the thing you constantly, regularly see, and you'll still see every once in a while, is people complaining and saying, I miss the screensavers, I miss the old tech TV days. And, regardless of how much we complain, we're not going to get that back. So we're going to get whatever new program is created for the audience. Now, since G4TV is very interested in what the audience has to say, and you can tell because look at their forums, it tracks both the number of responses and how many people view a certain thread topic. So depending on what's going on, the creative staff and talent of G4TV is very interested in, and they're going to use that information to help them create the content for their programming. They often take suggestions about different things to be covered, both for their news segments and for their loop panel discussions. So what I'm trying to do is encourage less of, the other thing is that whatever behavior is exhibited on the screen is, to anybody who doesn't understand, they will think, okay, that's okay behavior. And you see a lot of negative, like in the forums and message boards, you will see a sort of wild, creative, negative attitude, which is what Attack of the Show, like, champions, like, yes, this is, we are these people who are real smart, and we're always going to challenge authority and what people tell us, and we just make fun of it on top of that. Hey, good, I mean, I like that. I like people that say, we're going to do what we feel is right, not necessarily what, is considered correct, which removes political correctness, which is like, if you want a program that just doesn't fall into the politically correct norm, G4TV, that's, great programming for that. Now,